As Israel intensifies its assault on Rafah, witnesses report a surge in air raids, prompting residents to flee to the central part of the Gaza Strip, nearly 20 kilometers away. There are growing fears among Palestinians of an imminent ground invasion, raising concerns of a humanitarian catastrophe. Reports from Israeli media reveal Prime Minister Netanyahu's timeline for the operation. He signals to his war cabinet that they have around 1 month to wrap up the assault before the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, beginning on March 10th. However, many Palestinians in Rafah express their determination to stay, fearing another Nakba, or catastrophe, and potential permanent displacement. Hamas issues a warning, anticipating a massacre in Rafah, holding the U.S. administration responsible for the consequences despite their lack of support for the attack. Now, let's examine how the world is reacting to Israel's assault on Rafah. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres voices deep concern, stating on X that an Israeli incursion into Rafah would worsen an already dire humanitarian nightmare with untold regional consequences. UNICEF warns that more than 600,000 children and their families are displaced in Rafah, emphasizing the urgent need for intervention. The United States, Israel's main military and financial backer, cautions against a large-scale offensive, citing the potential disaster due to the large number of civilians in Rafah.
Convince us that they are about to or imminently going to conduct any kind of major operations in Rafah. I think you all know more than 1 million Palestinians are sheltering in and around Rafah. That's where they were told to go. There's a lot of displaced people there, and the Israeli military has a special obligation as they conduct operations there or anywhere else to make sure that they're factoring in protection for innocent civilian life, particularly the civilians that were pushed into southern Gaza by operations further north, Khan Yunis and North Gaza. I could tell you that absent any full consideration of protecting civilians at that scale in Gaza, military operations right now would be a disaster for those people, and it's not something that we would support.
The Israeli Prime Minister has said yesterday that he directed the army to prepare for an operation in Rafah.
Again, when I'm saying that we've not seen these reports, Michelle, what I'm speaking about is that reports around the serious planning for such an operation. And we believe that planning for such an operation should require some thought into the more than 1 million people who are sheltering in the area. It's also an area that is a key conduit for humanitarian aid and the safe departure of foreign nationals. Conducting an operation without thinking these pieces through is not something we'd support, and the Secretary made that clear to the Prime Minister.
Meanwhile, the United Kingdom expresses concern, urging Israel to limit operations to military targets and avoid harm to civilians. Rafah's strategic location along the Palestinian territory's closed border with Egypt adds complexity to the situation. Egypt firmly keeps the border closed, except for a few exceptions, warning that any movement of Palestinians into Egypt would jeopardize the long-standing peace treaty with Israel. Regional players like Jordan and Saudi Arabia join the chorus of warnings. Jordan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs warns against the dangers of an Israeli military operation in Rafah, rejecting the displacement of Palestinians and calling for an end to the Gaza Strip war. The Saudi Foreign Ministry strongly condemns Israel's actions, demanding an immediate ceasefire and urging the UN Security Council to prevent an imminent humanitarian catastrophe. The situation in Rafah continues to draw international concern, with leaders urging restraint and intervention. We will keep you updated on this unfolding crisis.